One of the more interesting aspects of postural restoration is vision. And a lot of people get confused why vision would be part of postural restoration or part of something that is designed to help people with pain. But it sounds weird because it's actually just so obvious. The fact is, everything you do in life, unless you're blind, requires vision. Everything you do, all your movements, running, jumping, walking, playing baseball, basketball, surfing, tennis, whatever you do in life, washing dishes, mopping the floor, requires vision, all right? You have to see where you are in relation to your surroundings. If it's that obvious, remember, your brain is blind. Your brain has no clue what's going on in the external environment. It makes decisions on how to activate your muscles and in what way and at what time and at what amount of force according to the sensory information that is coming through your central nervous system up to your brain that is coming from your sensory receptors. The two main ones being your eyes, obviously, and that's like 70% of your sensory information from the environment is coming through your eyes, and your feet. Your feet are giving your brain tons of information about where you're going, what you're feeling, uneven ground, things of that nature. So, it's so obvious. Everything you do requires your vision. And if your visual processing or your eyesight is not yet optimal or is not optimal, how is your brain supposed to make the correct decisions about how to activate your muscles? It should be pretty obvious. And it is once you actually, it's just such an aha thing. Fortunately, most people don't have visual processing issues because when they're there, they're very difficult to overcome. That's not something I can do. It's not something I can even get advice on. However, you could take my story as a learning experience. I got glasses about a year and a half ago in April of last year. I didn't know I had a visual issue. And actually, no, I'm not even gonna say visual issue. I didn't know I had a sight issue. I knew I needed reading glasses because in my mid-30s, which is before the normal time that people need reading glasses, but people with neck patterns, like I did, tend to need reading glasses earlier in life because their visual system is working so hard. Well, I'll get to that. So I knew I needed reading glasses. I did not know I had a problem with distance. I am farsighted, so I do see distance better than I see close up. I thought the reading glasses were all I needed though. And again, I thought it was age-related issue, except it was too young to usually be an age-related issue. I could see distance clearly, but I didn't realize that I had to strain so hard to make that image clear, that I was introducing tons of tension into my cranium, into my body completely, into my overall body. It was making tension obviously stay high. And this is not uncommon. A lot of people think they just need reading glasses. They don't realize, because the change is so incremental over time, they don't realize that their ability to see distance has declined also, because again, they're seeing clearly, but they have to produce a lot of strain to do so. They have to squint real hard, or maybe not even squint, but they have to strain really hard to make that picture clear. They have to overfocus. And that causes increase in muscular tension. Now eye muscles that move eyeballs are really, really strong. And I think the figure is that they're maybe 300 times stronger than they need to be to move an eyeball. That's important because those very, 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 very strong eye muscles attach to bone. So if you look at my cranium here, do you see the pink? That's the sphenoid. And that's part of the orbit, which the eyeball sits inside of. Now, the main ocular muscles, the extraocular muscles, attach mostly to the sphenoid in the back. And then the ocular nerve passes through the cranium, goes all the way back into the occipital cortex, or the visual cortex, which is in the occipital lobe of the brain. the muscles attached to that sphenoid. So anything that's producing strain for vision, to see clearly, if you're straining to see clearly and you're producing a lot of tension in those extraocular muscles, the eye muscles, they can hold the sphenoid and the other surrounding bones, like the frontal bone, the maxilla, so your upper jaw, the ethmoid, I believe it is, which is behind the nose. All these areas, and you have sinuses in those areas, right? You have areas that are supposed to expand with air and fill with air. Those can all get shut down. They can get closed. These really strong muscles can hold the bony relationships in an abnormal position, and that's what was happening to me, unbeknownst to me. So when I got my glasses, first of all, when they put the glasses on me, I was like, oh my God, so much easier. So the strain decreased immediately, and then I realized, holy crap, I had no clue how hard I was working to see clearly. It was just relaxation immediately, and it was just so easy to see. On the way home, on the drive home, I felt decompression in my jaw. I felt things moving, and I didn't know how to interpret it at the time. But the next day, and then actually I remember making dinner, and I was kind of eating as I was doing it, and I felt my jaw pop pretty hard, like 2 times. And then the next day I looked in the mirror, and my eyes had dropped into better alignment, and my jaw had dropped into better alignment. Everything relaxed. Everything relaxed. So I would highly recommend, if you're over the age of 40, if you sit and look at computer screens all day, if you play a lot of video games, get your eyes checked, because there's a good chance that you may have deteriorating eyesight earlier than you should in your life. I would also say that there's other chances that your eyes could decrease, or your ability to see clearly could decrease, or your visual system could be helping stabilize your body. And this is one where it's very interesting. There is a correlation between these patterns and the ability of your body to stabilize. So if you've lost stabilization because you've been in a pattern for too long, you might start to use your visual system to help stabilize your body. Now, this is actually pretty easy to test on your own, or to demonstrate. Not to test, but to demonstrate. Try doing something like a Bulgarian split squat, or a reverse lunge. Bulgarian split squat's a great one. Most likely, you're gonna stare at a spot on the floor while you do the exercise. Now, instead of staring, so do that first and see how easy it is. Just do it with body weight. And then do the same exercise, a Bulgarian split squat, but move your eyes around from side to side. Very slowly, just move them around so you can't stare at any spot. That exercise becomes a whole lot more difficult, because now you're not allowing your eyes, your visual system, to help stabilize your body. And now you're relying on the floor. Now you're relying on your brain's sense of the floor, and it has to now rely entirely upon the muscles in your legs and not your visual system. It becomes a lot harder. Now that happens in normal life. So if you're stuck in a pattern for too long, forward and crap. Pelvis rotates to the right, comes forward on the left, spine extends. Now you've got a weak left area. That left COA, maybe you've gotten pathological in the weak left hip. Are you stable? No, you're not stable at all. You're living your life unstable on the left side. If that goes on for too long, how are you going to stabilize? You need stability. So you're going to start to use your neck to help stabilize your thorax, these big SCMs, scalenes. Your neck muscles are going to help stabilize your body. And you're going to use your visual system to help stabilize your body as well. And that can put too much strain on your visual system, but then you rely on it, and now you're in a pattern, and you can't turn it off. So a lot of people are using their visual system to stabilize their body, and sometimes they can't get neutral, or they can't stay neutral. So, and I remember this happened to me. I'd be working with someone, I couldn't get them neutral. And it's really not that hard to get someone neutral once you know what you're doing. Or they wouldn't stay neutral, and I couldn't figure out, like, why won't this person stay neutral? And then I took the postural visual integration course, and there it is. A lot of people are using their visual system to help stabilize their body, and there's things that I can do when I'm working with somebody to get them out of that. That doesn't mean that they're I can get them to stop using their visual system to help stabilize, and their body will finally relax, and they'll finally be able to shift to the left. Two great, if you do PRI, just FYI, two great exercises to determine whether someone can get to the left or not. Left horizontal abduction and right leg abduction. Abduction. If they are limited and you can't get them to change, they could be using their visual system, because those indicate that you're stuck on the right side, not necessarily muscularly, but neurologically. Your brain won't let go of the right side. It may mean that they are using their visual system to keep them overstabilized on the right side for fear of something. The system doesn't want to let go, doesn't want to let them go to the left. They could also have lost left peripheral vision. So when people lose left peripheral vision and the world is here, because our left eye becomes our focal point and our right eye becomes the scanning eye, we lose left peripheral vision. This is very common. If the brain can't perceive space over to the left, it won't let you get very far to the left. Once you get them opening up left peripheral vision again, they can finally get to the left. So again, that's not going to make much sense to people who don't do PRI, but for people who do PRI, those two little issues could be holding up your program. The other thing is progressive lenses. People who wear progressive lenses, where they have 3 different powers in the same lens, they can wreak havoc on someone's body. Why? Because in order to make 3 different powers in the lens, it cuts out peripheral vision. And peripheral vision is how our brain stabilizes us in relation to our environment. You lose that peripheral vision, and your brain can't figure out where you are, so you stay tight. You stay right in the middle. I've had success with getting someone out of progressive lenses, and most of their pain, well, actually all their pain went away within a couple weeks. And I didn't change anything else except I got them out of those progressive lenses. The other interesting thing is when you are in a typical pattern, your spine and neck are oriented to the right, and you are lateralized to the right. Your head is then counter-rotating to the left, and your eyes, as you read, are constantly going left to right, and then your head moves back to the left. So you've got an overactive right SCM because you're doing this. It's like a typewriter. Or you're not moving your head at all, just your eyes. That is a pattern. You have a neck turning left, a head turning left. No. You have a neck turning right, a head turning left, and an eyes turning right. Constantly. That is a pattern. You can get people's test to change by simply switching it. You get them on the left, so their neck is pointing to the left. You turn their head to the right, and then you have them read backwards. You do a backward text generator or something like that, and you have them read a paragraph backwards. It will often, if they don't actually need glasses, or maybe just reading glasses, but nothing stronger than reading glasses, that could very easily turn off all their patterns and get them neutral. So the take-home point is that vision is a big deal, and it is often undiagnosed. I don't want to say undiagnosed. I'm not going to say diagnosed. Unappreciated or unrealized, let's put it that way. And people should always get their vision checked, and they should get it checked yearly. I'll just another personal anecdote. A couple weeks ago, for the past month and a half, 2 months, I've had just an ache in my lower back, tightness that I hadn't had for a very long time, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And it turned out that I went back to the optometrist, and no exercise was changing anything. I was like, you can do all the exercise in the world, but if there is a sensory issue, feet, teeth, vision, you're not going to overcome it through exercises. So obviously the exercises nothing was changing. I went back to the optometrist. It was time for my yearly checkup. My left eye needed an increase in power to 0.25. So now my left eye and my right eye are both 2.0. The moment I got home, put a 2.0 contact in my left eye, the tension just dropped significantly. I could feel a difference. So I could even feel my body weight shift to the left when I did a particular visual integration exercise. And then I still had this little annoying ache at the top of my left SI joint. And I forgot that I had to make sure that I get my feet and my eyes matched up. And I forgot about my left big toe. Sounds funny, I know, but because I have, if you've watched any of my videos about feet, I have a very high left arch abnormally high, and my left toe doesn't bend fully. The moment, this was actually a couple of days ago, I was doing exercise, I remembered my left big toe, I pushed my left big toe down to the ground, gone. So, sensory is huge, eyes are huge. Get your eyes checked. If you're over the age of 40, get your eyes checked. If you stare at a computer all day, get your eyes checked. If you have issues with your feet, get your eyes checked. If you have dental issues, get your eyes checked. Because changing anything with feet, teeth, and vision can change the other two. It's a huge deal. You're not gonna, you can see clearly and not realize you have a visual issue because of the reasons I described earlier. So my advice is get your eyes checked yearly. It could be the reason that you cannot get out of your pain. It is fascinating. Read more about it, learn more about it. And unfortunately, no one really knows about it except PRI. So, no, it's in the literature, but no one apparently consults the literature. So again, vision, it's a really big deal. If you found this video interesting or helpful, could you please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, do anything you can to spread this information because PRI is really changing people's lives, and I hope to share it with even more people. Thanks.